it's important for me to achieve an end game and end goal.
So, how did a young Gujarati kid from Yemen go from this video to this video? Let's find out. It is the year 2024, and if you don't know the Indian business mogul Mukesh Ambani, especially if you live in Asia, I am surprised. He is the chairman and owner of Reliance Industries Limited that has various different type of businesses across India, such as oil, energy, textiles, retail, telecommunications, and many more things. His net worth as of March 2024 is 118 billion US dollars, which is crazy. Ambani is the richest person in Asia, and he has been constantly rated as one of the wealthiest people in the world year over year according to Forbes. So we're going to get started first by talking about his early life and childhood. Born on April 19, 1957, Mukesh Ambani was born in Aden, Yemen, to a Gujarati Hindu family. His father was Dhirubhai Ambani and his mom was Kokila Ben Ambani. His father worked as a gas attendant in Aden, Yemen, but due to political unrest in the 50s, he was forced to move back to India. His mother, on the other hand, Kokila Ben Ambani, was born during a time in India where women were not encouraged to get education. So, due to that, she was forced to drop out in the 10th grade. But this did not stop her from being involved in her husband's business. When her husband's business was getting bigger and bigger, she asked him to get him a English tutor so she can stay involved in what is going on within the company. His brother, on the other hand, was just as motivated as Mukesh. He would look at his father and be very inspired from what he did. He got a Bachelor of Science and an MBA from the USA. His sisters, on the other hand, Nina and Deepti, were no less. For example, Nina got married to her husband, who was also a businessman. In 2015, he got cancer, and she completely took over the business and grew it to a much bigger business while her husband was sick. And his youngest sister, Deepti, also has a similar story. She is a managing partner and the vice president of her husband's company, and she has also helped the business grow tremendously. A lot of people think that Mukesh was born into a rich family due to his father being one of the richest people in India at the time he died, but that is not the case. Throughout his childhood, especially when they moved back to India, they saw very hard times. When they initially moved back to India, him and his family were forced to share a single apartment in Mumbai, where all of them stayed. During the first few years when they had moved back to India, it was not easy for them. Due to political unrest in Yemen, his father was forced to move back and start Reliance, which at that time was just known for trading spices. But he grew that company to be a multi billion-dollar company down the line. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is Mukesh Ambani's education. Education did not play a very, very big role in his life because he eventually did drop out. But initially, he did earn a bachelor's degree in chemical engineering from the University of Mumbai. After that, he went to go pursue a MBA from Stanford University, which is one of the best universities in the US. But he did end up dropping out in 1981 to help his father grow the business more. So, when considering Mukesh Ambani's business start, there are three things to consider. What was his first break? At what points was Reliance when he actually came in? And throughout all of this, was he being funded by daddy's money? So, what was his first break? In 1981, Dhirubhai Ambani pulled out Mukesh from Stanford because he needed help in running their family's business, which was Reliance at the time. He made Mukesh in charge of various things right away. Even though Mukesh was very young, Mukesh was in charge of the company's communications, infrastructure, petrochemicals, gas, polyester, oil and gas production, and telecommunications within the company, which were very, very major parts of the company, and there were growing parts of the company. But his dad had a lot of faith in him and made him in charge of all of them right away. The point Reliance was at when Mukesh actually came in was a very good point because the company was growing very, very fast. His dad really wanted to focus on oil and gas production and gave Mukesh the whole operation to make sure that part of the company is growing. He had been going to Jamnagar, which was a place in India where his father was from, to set up a new site for this oil and gas production, and he ended up creating one of the largest facilities across the world for this refinery. The point where Mukesh actually entered the business proves that it was actually not daddy's money because Dhirubhai Ambani was taking a big risk with his company because he was investing in so many things at once. And even if one little thing went wrong, his whole company would be bankrupt. So that's why I personally think it was not daddy's money because the family of the Ambanis was doing whatever they could to diversify the portfolio within the company, and his dad was putting a lot of trust in his oldest son to make sure that the businesses that he was overlooking were running very good. So that is all about Mukesh's early life, family, and education. Let's talk about the key business events that happened throughout his career now. The first major thing that has happened that many people know is the death of his father. In 2002, his father had suffered a second major stroke, which left him in a coma for more than a week, which after he suddenly died. This was a very sensitive time for Ambani because at the time of his father's death, his father had not left a will to decide who will run his business after he dies. This was very, very controversial because the two brothers, Anil and Mukesh, had very different opinions on how to run a business. And this did create a big fight between the two, which later on went very public as the two went against each other. When this was happening, their mother, Kokila Ben, stepped in and brokered a truce, and she essentially split the companies into two, in which Mukesh got control of the oil and Anil got control of the electricity, telecom, and financial services. Even though the company was split, the two brothers had a long, long feud in which eventually they did come back together. Anil Ambani was given the telecom sector of the business, which was a very fast growing sector in India. Anil could not keep up with the growth of the telecommunications within India, which made him lose a lot of money and essentially made him really broke. Mukesh had to step in and bail out his brothers in many instances because he could not afford to pay the debt that he had taken under his company. The first sign of peace between the two brothers came when the Swedish telecom company Ericsson was suing Anil for a $80 million debt he had taken from them. Anil had a month's time from the court of Mumbai to repay this money back to the company, and he could not do so. And at the last minute, Mukesh had stepped in and paid the loan for him, so he would not face any jail time. From the day he got to take over the company completely, Reliance was changing day by day. Mukesh's view on company and the business was very different from his father's. He wanted to diversify Reliance completely. He did not want Reliance to focus on one thing but many different things. Soon after he took control, he had diversified Reliance in so much that Reliance had introduced Jio, which was a telecommunications company. He had completely transformed Jamnagar into one of the world's biggest oil refineries. Reliance Oil and Gas discovered hydrocarbon, which was not discovered at all before, and he really, really expanded on it. He introduced Reliance Mobility Solutions for hardware, and he also introduced Reliance New Energy, in which he invested 75,000 crores. Now, when we talk about numbers, it was in 2018 when Mukesh had actually become the richest person in Asia, surpassing the chairman of Alibaba, Jack Ma. At this time, in July 2018, his net worth had come up to $44 billion, which was never seen before in Aside India. From his own personal wealth, he is also known for keeping his investors happy in his companies. It is known to be said that he has added 17.4 lakh crores to his investors year over year to make sure that the people investing in his companies are happy, and that is what drives him to work so hard every single day. In 2002, when he first took over the company, his net worth was 28,000 crores, and now in 2024, his net worth is 645,000 crores. So you can see how much his net worth has grown from his aggressive business tactics.
Should happen? Well, I think that giving and serious giving is important. In fact,
Aside from just making money, him and his wife are known for giving a lot of charity. His wife is the head of the charity department within their businesses, and they are known for giving a tremendous amount of money year over year to different charities throughout India. Aside from the charities, Mukesh himself is interested in cricket, and his interest in cricket has driven him to buy the Mumbai Indians, which is one of the most valuable cricket teams in the world. He had bought this team for 110 million US dollars back in 2008, and now that same team is worth 1.5 billion dollars in 2024, which is crazy.
Nobody has ever achieved anything big in business or in any walk of life without courage. Of course.
No one will ever understand how Mukesh's mind actually works and how he did actually get where he is, but to understand that his business strategies and how they work and where they are is very evident. Whenever he is giving an interview or he is talking to someone, you can see what he is passionate about, and that mainly is his business, but you can also see the certain parts of business he is passionate
While
about
making
too.
this
Video, when I was doing research on him, one thing I realized right away is that he likes to adapt to the times right away. Reliance is a very old company, but even though it is old, it has kept up with the culture of India for a very long time. Even back in the 80s and now in the 2020s, Reliance is the biggest company in India and it is in touch with most Indians across the country. Running a business in India is not easy. There are a lot of regulations that you have to adapt to. That's why Ambani has always emphasized that he is not always worried about making profits, but he is also worried about things like environmental sustainability, social welfare, and community development. Another business strategy that he has always put emphasis on is customer-centric approach across all his businesses. A good example of this is when he released Jio, the telecommunication company. He wanted to make sure that the price base that they were introducing his product at was accessible to all Indians across the country. And things like this have always made sure that he is very successful throughout his career. He does not only keep himself in mind, but the billions of people across him. Finally, the last strategy that I think is very good at is strategic partnerships. Across India, most big companies are only big within India and don't really make it out of India. But Mukesh has always made it a goal and a challenge to partner up with companies like Google, Facebook, and Disney. In this upcoming year, he has partnered with Disney, and one of the big things about this is that the IPL, which is the Indian Cricket League, will be premiered on this service, which is a really big thing for India.
These 40 years of achievements and records to only one person, to our founder chairman, Sri Dhirubhai Ambani.
So, what makes Mukesh different from his father, Dhirubhai? Dhirubhai was known as a very eccentric man. He was very well spoken and open to anything he was ever asked. Mukesh, on the other hand, you can see through his interviews, was very shy and withdrawn. Growing up, it is said that did not make any friends, and it took him a very long time to open up to people. Even today, you can see that he is now open to making new relationships and has very few people he is close to around him. Dhirubhai Ambani started the business on his own with his cousin, and he knew everything from the beginning to the end. But Mukesh, on the other hand, had a different story. He had to live up to his father's expectations, not only to his father, but to the public too. His father was a very well-known person in India, and as soon as he died, everyone expected Mukesh to be just like him. When he overtook his role. When Mukesh took over the business, he took over in a completely different way than what his father was doing. Mukesh was silent but very fierce, while his father was always well spoken and spoke to everyone. Mukesh kept in touch with everyone across the world, whether it was people involved in sports, acting, and other businesses around the world. He always made sure that they knew of him. Unlike his father, Mukesh has kind of always flaunted his wealth. He has been seen with many cars, many actors, many fine things in life. And he doesn't do this to show off, but he does this to flaunt an Indian dream. People in India always think they need to chase a big dream by leaving India, but he is a living example of that you can make anything happen within the country you are from. From day one, his father also tried to diversify the business, but Mukesh took this to a whole nother level. He diversified Reliance into something that basically just runs India. His company is involved from everything that runs a country. He is considered to be one of the most famous businessmen in the world today, but his personality has not changed. He is still very quiet, soft spoken, and does not like the attention like his brother and his father did. That's what makes him different from his father. Now to the main point of this video. Does Ambani run India? The reason why people may think this is because number one, essentially he does own everything within India, and second, he is the richest person in India. Even though Modi is considered to be very powerful, most of the loans that are approved are by Modi that are given to Ambani for his businesses. Most of the media that is ran in India is owned by Ambani, which in return supports Modi too. Getting to the point where Ambani is very hard without some political support. There have been many loans given to him for which others will be very hard to get. He has been given land for which may be very hard to get, and all this has been due to his relationships with people in India, especially politicians. Aside from the obvious stuff, his impact on India is very big, especially in the recent years. Without even being on social media, Ambani is an idol for many, many people across India, especially kids. The way his life is flaunted through media, the way his family is shown through media, the way his events and companies are shown through media, it reaches almost every single person in India without him even having to say anything. When people see this, they see success. When they see success, they want to follow the same path that Ambani has been going on. In any corner that you turn to in India, it's not just Reliance you see. When people see Reliance, they know the man behind it, and it is Mukesh Ambani. That is why many, many people look up to him without him even trying to get a lot of attention. Aside from just being a businessman, Ambani has been very, very Indian too. The Indian culture puts emphasis on family. Ambani has always put family first, and he has always made sure that his family has been involved in his business. Even though he was in a fight with his brother, for example, he came around and did help him out in the time of his need. His children and many of his other family members are very, very involved with his business. He does not do anything alone and make sure everyone in his family has a part in it. Aside from that, he is also very big on Indian culture in the sense that he represents Hinduism to the most. In every single video or picture you see him outside of work, you can see that he is always within the Hindu culture, and he's always comfortable in it, and you can see that he does take a step back from business, and he really enjoys being in the culture he was brought up in. Being such a big businessman and being so rich puts Ambani in a spot where when anything happens in India, he is always consulted with or he always has a connection to it. That's why I think he is one of the most powerful people in India, and he may potentially run it just by being in the background without anyone knowing. Now for the ending notes. The first question is he a good guy or bad guy? Being a businessman, I think he has done everything right. He has had no bad intentions and he is good in what he has done. Obviously, businessmen do have to look at profits and the numbers before doing anything, but I think Ambani has exceeded that and he has truly grasped the heart of many Indians. And I feel like his family will always remain rich, at least for the next couple generations, because he has instilled the business throughout his family tree. He has made sure that even after he leaves, his kids have something to work on and to be a part of, no matter what. And I think people all across the globe should follow his footsteps because he is the epitome of hard work and what it truly means to run a successful business. Now, as this video comes to an end, it is important to reflect on why Mukesh Ambani is truly a remarkable human being. His dedication to creating a better future, not just for himself, but for his whole country and the world, is truly inspiring. Through his innovation and his business ventures, he has left a lasting impact on countless lives without even knowing he has. Ambani's commitment to empowering others and improving the quality of life is all a testament to his character. His passion for innovation and business is something that should be considered one of the greatest things of all time. Thank you for watching.